God bless our homeland. Ghana, bless our homeland.
Allah, Allah,
Allah, nation great and strong, both to defend forever.
Number one DJ, the unstoppable.
God bless our homeland, Ghana. Make our nation great and strong, both to defend forever the cause of freedom and of our rights. God bless our homeland, Ghana. Hey, God bless our homeland, Ghana. Bless our homeland, Ghana. Make our nation great and strong, both to defend forever the cause of freedom and of our rights. God bless our homeland, Ghana. Make our nation great and strong, hey, both to defend forever the cause of freedom and of our rights. God bless our homeland, Ghana. Jajimi ya feeding tamo okole mafai. Bao wote ni wote. Jajimi ya feeding tamo okole mafai. Bao wote ni wote. Eni Yesu yo, jemeno mi sheyo. Eni Yesu yo, jemeno mi sheyo. Wano ti mi che, damo Yesu atalele. Bao wote ni wote. Eni Yesu yo, jemeno mi sheyo. Eni Yesu yo, jemeno mi sheyo. Wano ti mi che, damo Yesu atalele. Bao wote ni wote. Elekaji mi ya feeding tamo okole mafai. Bao wote ni wote. Elekaji mi ya feeding tamo okole mafai. Bao wote ni wote. Eni Yesu yo, jemeno mi sheyo. Eni Yesu yo, jemeno mi sheyo. Ono chimiche, damo Yesu atalele. Bao wote ni wote. Eni Yesu yo, jemeno mi sheyo. Eni Yesu yo, jemeno mi sheyo. Ono chimiche, damo Yesu atalele. Bao wote ni wote. Eni Yesu yo, jemeno mi sheyo. Eni Yesu yo, jemeno mi sheyo. Ono chimiche, damo Yesu atalele. Bao wote ni wote. Boa me na nenya me boa me. Boa me na nenya me boa. Boa me na nenya me boa me. Boa me na nenya me boa me. Kaneni bia akwa kusiya. Oshede ni nechi nyame biara ni o. Oshe soji ose na nenya me boa me. Maba wucho oti na nenya me boa. Boa me na nenya me boa me. Boa me na nenya me boa dada.
Number one DJ, the unstoppable.
Boa me na nenya me boa me. Ghana le wakwa kusiya. Akonje kubache nyame biara ni o. Osho sodi osi na nenya me boa me. Maba wucho oti na nenya me boa. Boa me na nenya me boa me. Boa dada. Boa me na nenya me boa me. Boa me
na nenya me boa me.
Boa me na nenya me boa me. Boa me na nenya me boa.
Adinkra Spoprts update.
Boa me na nenya me boa me. Oh, ninde.
We are live.
Oh, ninde no.
Tell a friend to tell a friend. The NNM is airborne. Good and Joe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Your number one sports show is airborne. With the boy Wonder. Bringing you sports around the world. Sports in and around the world. Good evening, North America. Good evening, Africa. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Wherever you are around the globe, this is your man NNM on Adinkra Spoprts Update. Ma sole mana hiwale. And know that. And know that. This is how we do it over here. Starting with a very soothing Jama. And know that. Murawo. It's all set. June 10th at Istanbul, Manchester City. They did it in a grand style against Real Madrid. They booked their ticket to the finals of the Champions League. Pep Guardiola's Manchester City. Finally, for the second time, Manchester City has made it to the finals of the Champions League. Is this the time? Is this the time? Is this the time for Pep Guardiola to make it for the third time?
Number one DJ, the unstoppable.
Is this the time for the first time ever Manchester City Champions League trophy? Time and time will tell. Where you man? We are here to update you. We are here to make you have fun. We are here to entertain. Sports updates with the boy Wonder on Adinkra Radio NY, Adinkra TV NY, Adinkra Multimedia. The Capitala Modernina between AC Milan and International Milan. All is settled. International Milan outclassed, outplayed, thrashed AC Milan, and they joined Manchester City for the historic final at Istanbul, Turkey. Anytime we mention Istanbul, only one memory comes to mind. The famous 2004-2005 Champions League final between AC Milan and Liverpool. We all know what happened. Are we going to have another thrilling encounter? Are we going to have another memorable time in our lives as football fans? Time and time will tell. But as it is now, tell a friend to tell a friend that the boy wonder, Nina Maxwell, is airborne. You can call me Nina Maxwell, N&M, the boy wonder, and I will respond to you. Nipa Beni. Oh, it's reminding me of those days, man. Back in high school. Back in high school. Where the high school boys are. Where the runs here. Nipa Beni. We are warming up. We are getting you prepared. Gradually we are getting there. The sports updates from Adinkra Multimedia. We are about to soar. Changes in the qualifications of the World Cup 2026. As we all privy to, is going to be taking place in 3 countries: the United States of America, Canada, and Mexico. By default, all these 3 countries have qualified to the World Cup. Hooray! We have remaining 45 countries to make it to the World Cup 2026. And a new format has been proposed by FIFA and CAF together. As far as Africa's qualification is concerned, we are going to discuss, we are going to deliberate, we are going to dissect. Just as you want it. Stay tuned with N&M, the boy wonder, on Adinkra Sports Update. The top 4 race is getting hotter and hotter in the EPL. Is it going to be Manchester City, Arsenal, and which 2 other clubs to make it to the top 4? Already it is certain that Arsenal and Manchester City have already made it to the Champions League next season. We are waiting for 2 more clubs to join them. Is it going to be Newcastle United, Eddie Howe's Newcastle United, Manchester United, or Liverpool? The 3rd and 4th place is being contested by these 3 teams. Eventually only 2 teams will make it. Is it going to be Manchester United and Newcastle? Is it going to be Manchester United and Liverpool? Is it going to be Newcastle, Manchester United? Is it going to be Newcastle, Liverpool? Time and time will tell. Like I say, tell a friend, tell a friend. I'm here to make your day. The boy wonder. The Twitter space is getting hotter. The Twitter space is getting hotter. There's been a comparison in the Twitter space. There's been a debate in the Twitter space. Is it Pep Guardiola or Jose Mourinho? Who is better? After these renowned coaches made it to the finals of European Cups, Jose to the finals of the Europa Cup, and Pep Guardiola to the finals of the Champions League. But don't forget, Jose is back to back. Is he going to make it back to back European trophies? Is this going to be the third time Pep Guardiola and the first time ever for Manchester City to win the Champions League? There has been the debate on Twitter. The Jose fans are saying Jose is better. Guardiola fans are saying Guardiola is better. What is the basis of this debate? We shall go in it as usual. We shall talk about it. We shall dissect it. We shall discuss it. Do you remember the number 12? They were scheduled for cut yesterday. Did Anas Arimiao Anas show up? Is he willing to testify against Kwesinyan Techi in court? Did he withdraw? If he did, by what circumstances and conditions? It is an undenying fact and news that Anas Arimiao Anas has withdrawn from testifying against Kwesinyan Techi in court. We shall go into this saga, the number 12 saga. Of course, we know this resulted into so many bad times. Kwesinyan Techi being stripped of all his position as far as football is concerned, because he's allegedly to have been involved in corruption scandals with footages and videos here and there. We all knew how Kwesinyan Techi was rising through the radar as far as footballing is concerned. He was at the time the vice president at CAF, having so many prestigious positions in FIFA, being stripped of all these positions was a blow to Ghana football. And we all knew what happened. The case went to court. But finally, Anna decided to withdraw from testifying against Kwesinyan Techi. We shall go into this. That is the topic of the day. But before we go into it, don't forget that the debate is still ongoing. Is it Pep Guardiola or Jose Mourinho? Who is better? You can send your views and comments, and we shall read them for you. And in the international front, we shall delve into NBA basketball. It is getting keener. It is getting hotter. It is getting more exciting at this moment. The conference finals are ongoing. At the Eastern Conference, is it going to be the Miami Heat or the Boston Celtics? Is it going to be the Miami Heat or the Boston Celtics? Is it going to be Jason Tatum or Jamie Butler? Already the Heat are leading the series by 1-0. And elsewhere at the Western Conference is LeBron James's Lakers against Nikola Jovic, the Joker, Denver Nuggets. Nikola Jovic is in the form of his life. He's bullying, outplaying, outclassing his opponent. The Denver are in 2-0 lead in their series against the Lakers. Don't forget they played at home in both games. And now they'll be going to Los Angeles. Can they stand the might and the wrath of the Lakers? Time and time will tell. We should go into this. We should talk about this. That's to whet the appetite of NBA followers. That's for you guys. As far as we are in North America, NBA is part of us, and we should discuss and talk about it day in, day out. Who's going to be in the finals proper? Is it going to be the Lakers and the Boston Celtics? Is it going to be the Lakers and the Miami Heat? Is it going to be Denver and the Miami Heat? Is it going to be Denver Nuggets and the Boston Celtics? Time and time will tell. Okay, Yesubaya. Okay, Yesubaya. And you're there. And you're there. This is the time if the boy wonder. Adinkra Spoprts Update. That's my favorite. We are warming up. We are warming up. We shall be going down soon. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We are about to soar. Voilà nuit, voilà nuit, voilà nuit. It's getting so much excitement, man. I love this job, man. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Hey, my family, Kuma Yole. Hey, my family, Kuma Yola. Wala nule eje. Lele banwe koe. Wala nwe. Banwe koe. Wala nwe. Banwe koe. Wala nwe. Banwe koe. Wala nwe. Wala nule eje. Lele banwe koe. Wala nwe. Banwe koe. Wala nwe. Banwe koe. Wala nwe. Banwe koe. Wala nwe. Wala nule eje. Banwe koe. Echa esi echa gozo balo baeko wala nule eje balo baeko echa seke echa bling bling balo baeko wala nule eje balo baeko ele banweko wala nule banweko wala nule banweko
ọ̀fẹ́ mọ̀ ní kùmà yọ́lẹ̀. Bánúbà
ekwe.
Wàlánúlẹ̀ èjì. Bánúbà ekwe. Ọ̀fẹ́ mọ̀ ní kùmà yọ́lẹ̀.
Bánúbà ekwe.
Wàlánúlẹ̀ èjì. Bánúbà ekwe. Lẹ́lẹ́ bánú ekwe.
Wàlánúwe.
Bánú ekwe. Wàlánúwe. Bánú ekwe.
Wàlánúwe.
Bánú ekwe.
Wàlánúwe.
Wàlánúlẹ̀ èjì. Bánúbà ekwe. Bánúbà wúwọ́ kẹ́yà.
Bánúbà wúwọ́ kẹ́yà.
Lówà, lówà, lówà. Bánúbà wúwọ́ kẹ́yà. Wọ́ọ̀tẹ̀ lówà yé. Bánúbà wúwọ́ kẹ́yà. Bánúbà wúwọ́ kẹ́yà. Lówà, lówà, lówà. Lówà, bánúbà wúwọ́ kẹ́yà.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, depending on wherever you find yourself all around the world. This is your man NNM, and this is your number one sports show, sports update on Adinkra Radio NY and Adinkra TV NY, and all over Adinkra Multimedia. Once again, we have come to serve. We have come to give you nothing but the best. Sports around the world with the man NNM. Exciting times all together, man. Over the week, wonderful, wonderful games we have witnessed. Teams being outclassed and outplayed by teams, making history, and then so many discussions in air, so many discussions on air, so many discussions all over. Yeah, as far as our games are concerned. Yes, like we always do, we have two sessions. We have the international front and we have the local scenes. So we shall go into these sessions and we shall discuss the issues this as you want us to do. But before that, please tell a friend to tell a friend that the sports update is on air. You can keep sharing, you can keep liking, and then just to make us give you the best of sports content, Yeah, this is the family we are creating. Gradually, we are getting there. And then it's, more of us having so many interactive interactions. And that is what we are here for. Back to our games. We shall delve straight away to the international front. And then after we come back to our local scene. So many things happening locally. Yeah, Aremiao Anas has finally decided to withdraw from testifying against Kwesi Nyantechi. That is a deep issue we are going to discuss. Yes, it's a deep issue we are going to discuss. So many things happening at the local scenes. Yeah, and then we have the so-called untouchables in the Black Stars. They forming the fulcrum or the basics or the spine of our team. Those players are called the untouchables. Unless a player is injured in these untouchables, all of them will be called whenever the Black Stars are needed to represent the country at the international or the continental stages. All right, so we shall go into that at the local scenes. But right away, we are going into the international front. And it is NBA night. NBA. It is getting hotter. Yes. The conference finals are ongoing. And you know that the winner of winners from each conference will come together and then they'll play the ultimate final. So now the Eastern Conference final is ongoing and then the Western Conference final is ongoing. And before we got to this stage last week, we got to the semifinals of the conference games, and then at the Western Conference, it was the Los Angeles Lakers and then the Denver Nuggets, and then we have the Phoenix, and then we also had the other team. Yeah, and then when we come to the Eastern Conference, it was the Miami Heat, and then we had the Boston Celtics, we have the Philadelphia Sixers, and then we have the New York Knicks. So these were the teams that's represented in the semifinals of both conferences. The Eastern Conference was the New York Knicks, the Philadelphia Sixers or 76ers. We have the Boston Celtics, and then we had the Miami Heat. And then when you go to the Western Conference, it was the LA Lakers. We have the Golden State Warriors. We had the Denver Nuggets, and then we had the Phoenix, the Suns. Okay, and then now we have two teams making it to the finals, and then the finals of the conference finals are ongoing. At the Western Conference, we had Warriors being outclassed and thrashed by the LA Lakers. Steph Curry's Warriors couldn't stand the might of LeBron James' Lakers. So Lakers made it to the final as we speak. And then we had the Denver Nuggets against the Phoenix. The Denver Nuggets outplayed the Phoenix, and then they made it to the finals of the Eastern Conference. Of the Western Conference, sorry. As I speak with you, the Western Conference is ongoing. And it was between the Denver Nuggets and the Lakers. LeBron James Lakers and Nikola Jokic, the Joker's Denver Nuggets. Already 2 games have been played, and they were all played in Denver, and then the Nuggets are leading by 2-0 in that series of the Western Conference Finals. So many wonderful games were played. Wonderful moments were captured here and there, because Nikola Jokic is in the form of his life right now. As I speak with you right now, he is in the form of his life. Nobody seemed to be able to stop him. Oh, like I say, how can you stop the unstoppable? How can you stop the unstoppable? You cannot come in the way of the unstoppable. Just like you cannot stop Adinkra Sports Update. We are unstoppable. Nikola Jokic is unstoppable. He's been bullying the defense. Offensively, he's been so strong. Defensively, he's been so amazing. And now he's doing the do for the Denver Nuggets. Is it going to be their year? Are they going to win the ultimate this year? Because as it looks now, they have 2-0 lead against the Los Angeles Lakers. They have 2-0 lead against the Los Angeles Lakers. The first series was played in Denver, and then the Denver Nuggets beat the Los Angeles Lakers by 132 points against 126 points. And just yesterday, they played again, and then the Denver Nuggets beat the Los Angeles Lakers by 108 to 103. So we shall, bring you the details of these wins. All right. So the first series went on, and during the first quarter, the Denver Nuggets beat the Los Angeles Lakers by 37 to 25 points. And then the second quarter, they beat them by 35 to 29 points. And then in the third quarter, the Los Angeles Lakers came in so strong, beating the Denver Nuggets by 38 to 34 points. And then finally, they beat the Denver Nuggets at the fourth quarter again by 34 to 26 points. But don't forget, the first 2 quarters were so amazing for the Denver Nuggets. So the total was 126 for the Los Angeles Lakers, and then a whooping 132 points for the Denver Nuggets. So they won the first series. So away from the first series, we came to the second series, which was played just yesterday. And then the Denver Nuggets beat the Los Angeles Lakers by 108 points to 103 points. And this was the breakdown. The first quarter was 27 points. It was a tie. Then they went to the second quarter. The Los Angeles Lakers actually beat the Denver Nuggets in the second quarter by 26 points to 21 points. So here things were getting better for the Los Angeles Lakers. Then the third quarter, the Denver Nuggets came in strongly by beating the Lakers 28 to 36, 26 points. And then finally, at the fourth quarter, around the fourth quarter, the Denver Nuggets showed up again. Nikola Jokic showed up again. And then they beat the Lakers by 32 points against 24 points. And then in total, it's Denver 108 points and Lakers 103 points. The next game will be played tomorrow, and this time around it's going to be in Los Angeles. Don't forget that all these two games were played in Denver. So it was, home advantage for the Nuggets, but now they are going to the Lakers. Are they going to be able? Can they stand the might of LeBron James in Los Angeles? The Warriors tried, but they couldn't. Are the Denver Nuggets going to be able to stand that might? Time and time will tell. All right, so away from the Western Conference. So at the Western Conference Finals, Denver is leading LA Lakers by 2 points or 2-0. They are leading the series by 2-0. Now we are coming to the Eastern Conference. Before the Boston Celtics even got to the finals, they were playing against the Sixers. And the Sixers seem to be doing amazingly well. However, whatever happened, that brought about the comeback. That's crazy comeback with Celtics coming back from 2-3 down to winning the series by 4-3 was so amazing. They made it to the finals, and this time around it's against Jimmy Butler's Miami Heat, Kyle Lowry's Miami Heat, Adebayor's Miami Heat. Interesting games I heard, man. Interesting games. So the first series was played, and then actually the Heat beat the Bostons by 123 to 116. As I speak to you tonight, it is going down. Tonight, it is going down. And it is between the Miami Heat against the Boston Celtics. So, when they played, the last time they played, this is the breakdown. The first quarter, Miami was trailing by 28 to 30 to, I beg your pardon, to 30 against the Boston Celtics. The second quarter, the Boston Celtics dominated again by beating by winning the quarter by 36 points against 29 points. And then the third quarter, that was the turning point of the game. The third quarter, Miami Heat came so much into the game. They accrued as much as 46 points. Wow! Against 25 points. You know, with the breakdown, each quarter, Celtics won 3 quarters. They won the first quarter by 30 against 28. They won the second quarter by 36 against 29. The fourth quarter, they won by 125 points against 20 points. But the third quarter alone, Miami Heat was able to give so much difference with 46 points against 25 points, almost a half of what Celtics scored. And that was the difference. And then the total was 123 against 116. So you could see that there was no much consistency in what the Celtics were doing, because you wouldn't win 3 quarters and just a single quarter, you lose it to the point of losing the game. That was so insane, man. Sorry. Pardon me pardon my language, but it's just disheartening, man. Winning 3 quarters and just losing it in just a quarter, and then that will be the end of you. That's disheartening, man. That's disheartening. I wonder how Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart are taking it right now, because it's going to be very hard for them, very hard for them to digest as I speak with you. It's going to be very hard, because it was the third quarter that did all the magic for the Miami Heat. The third quarter. The third quarter. All right, I speak with you tonight. They're going to play again. And then don't forget that the first quarter was played in Boston. So you saw what the Sixers did in Boston during the semifinals. The Philadelphia Sixers could go to Boston and then amass win games there. So you could see that when Boston is playing at home, the consistency is not there. The home is supposed to be their stronghold. Is not holding them strongly, and that has been the problem the Boston Celtics are going through. There should be consistency in their play because they have a very good team. But if you want to challenge for the ultimate trophy, you need to be more consistent than before, than ever. Because you cannot be playing like this and be expecting yourselves to winning laurels. Yes, this is a game. This is a competition. You gotta be up and doing. You gotta up your game. You gotta be focused. You gotta be consistent, and that's the difference. That's the difference between these big teams and these small teams. That's the difference between the elite and the others. So you gotta be very consistent. You gotta be very consistent. So it is about to go down tonight. It is the game between the Boston Celtics and the Miami Heat. Jason Tatum and Jimmy Butler. Jalen Brown and Adebayor. Marcus Smart and Kyle Lowry. Who does the do? Time and time will tell. Time and time will tell. Time and time will tell. So that's it for the NBA fans. NBA fans, that's what we have for you tonight. It is getting more hotter and hotter and hotter. If your team is playing at this point, you would love to not miss any of the series. You would love to not miss any of the series. If your team is playing, you would want to see your team in the grand finale. Is it going to be the LA Lakers or the Denver Nuggets? Is it going to be Boston Celtics or Miami Heat? Who wins this year's ultimate? Who wins this year's competition? Time and time will tell. All right. Away from NBA. And now we are delving straight to football. Our game, soccer, as the Americans will call it. Last Tuesday and Wednesday was historic days for the game of football. We witnessed some thrilling encounters, oh my God, as far as the game is concerned. Somewhere in the city of Manchester, the Etihad. It was the game between Manchester City and Real Madrid. What a game. Going into this game, the first leg ended 1-1 at the Bernabeu. And it was just excitement here and there at the Bernabeu. You know, because of how the game ended at the Bernabeu, it became so difficult for us to even predict what is going to happen at the Etihad, because it was two half games. The first half, Manchester City dominated, and then they were beaten. And then the second half, Real Madrid dominated. They were also beaten by Manchester City. So it gives a very, very uncertain, verdict to predict what is going to happen in the second leg. But look, you can definitely say you're going to experience, or we're going to witness a very, very great game. We're going to experience thrilling encounter. We're going to experience a free-flowing game in that regard, and that was what we experienced. We experienced Pep Guardiola, classical Pep Guardiola. We experienced classical Pep Guardiola at his peak. That was what we experienced last Tuesday. It was Pep Guardiola show. The Pep Guardiola show. He outclassed, outplayed, outnumbered, demolished. Give me worse. The Don Carlo Ancelotti's Real Madrid. We all know the pedigree of Real Madrid going into this game, so we knew anything can happen. But when the ball was set rolling, what a game! Manchester City Oh my God, my God, my God. Arguably, they are the best team in the world right now. They are playing the game like they were that they are like it's their birthright. That is what they do. They're playing like it's their birth. This is what they have been called to do, and that is what they are giving us. Quality football. Quality football is what we are getting from Manchester City. Quality football, man. Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva. Ah. Manchester City took the game to Real Madrid right from the blow of the whistle to the end. Real Madrid had no clue whatsoever what was happening to them. No clue, no clue. So at the end of the day, they were beaten by 4 goals to 0. 4 goals to 0. But on that day, but for Thibaut Courtois, but for the exploits of Thibaut Courtois, oh, that game would have been embarrassing. It would have been embarrassing. Because Real Madrid had no antidote whatsoever for that fury that Manchester City was just throwing left, right, center. They had no clue whatsoever. They were just in the game, living in a wonderland, not knowing what was happening to them. Listen, Manchester City is the team currently, is the team of the moment. They push so high. Real Madrid had no answer to that press. Immediately they get the ball, Manchester City gets the ball back. And then they just keep pressing, keep asking the questions, keep probing, and then they were getting the results. The goals were just coming in. Bam, bang, bam, bang, bang. Bernardo Silva getting a brace there. There is an on goal which was later given to Manuel Akanji. And then the young star, Julian Alvarez added to that pain of Real Madrid at the tail end of the game. So Manchester City is out. It is settled. Pep Guardiola's Manchester City are going to the finals for the second time. Yes, the first time they lost against Chelsea 2 years ago. And now they have made it to the finals again. Istanbul, here we come. That was what Manchester City told the people of the world last Tuesday. That Istanbul, here we come. Yes, we are the best team in the world. Yes, we are ready this time around. Yes, we want to be part of the elite. Yes, we want to be called an elite team. No, look at just look at this. With all the exploits Manchester City and the successes they are chopping, they are still not being seen as an elite club as far as the elite competitions are concerned. Chelsea can boast. Manchester United can boast. Liverpool can boast. But Manchester City, with all the wins and the trophies they are getting, winning the leagues even 3 times in a row this time around, because there is no way Arsenal is going to come back this time around. Manchester City is not going to bottle it. He's not going to bottle it. No, they will never bottle it. That Manchester City knows how to play the league at this point. At this point, they know what is at stake. They know what they have to do. So they will never bottle it like Arsenal did. No, they won't. So as it stands right now, it is the treble or something else. Because for the league they have won, they have FA Cup final to play against Manchester United, and now they have Champions League final to play. And guess who they're going to play against? It is the blue and black side of Milan. You know, in Milan we have the black and red side, and we have the blue and red side, blue and black side. Yes, the blue and black side triumphed over the red and black side last Wednesday. Inter Milan made it to the finals of the Champions League. The last time they won, they did this was 2010. How many years now? Down the lane? 13 years? Yes. Wow, how time flies. So soon, 13 years. That was the famous Jose Mourinho moment. The moment Inter Milan won the treble. Yeah. And now they are in the finals again. Yeah, undoubtedly, you can see that 13 years ago, they had a very, you could say they had a better team because the team bonding and chemistry was phenomenal. But this time around, yes, we are not giving them so much, is it respect that they deserve? But they have made it to the final. Hey, they are in the finals of the Champions League, Inter Milan. So you cannot write them off. I've heard people say, no, it is just an easy game for Manchester City. No. But don't forget that Inter Milan made it to the final. And they play almost similar formation as Manchester United does. Just that they have 3 base and 5 midfield. Not 4-1. No, 5 and 2. But Manchester City plays 3-2-4-1. Inter Milan plays 3-5-2. So that's the difference. So it is a one-off game. So yes, Manchester City would dominate. They would dictate the pace. They will, play that. We know Manchester City. But this is a final. Inter Milan can soak the pressure, and then they get a goal, and that's it. So I know Manchester City are not being complacent. They know what is at stake. They knew what happened to them 2 years ago against Chelsea when everybody was taking them to win that game, but Chelsea gave them a surprise package. So they know what Inter is capable of. They know the threat up front. They know the threat in the middle of Inter Milan. Nicolo Barella can score anytime. Enrique Mkhitaryan can score anytime. Çalhanoğlu can score anytime. So they know what is at stake. It's going to be a very, very classy final. So it is all settled. June 10th at Istanbul. The famous Istanbul Stadium. It is going to be Manchester City from the blue side of Manchester against International Milan from the blue side of Milan. Yeah, because we know the black is always in Milan. But we have black and red, black and blue. So the blue side of Milan against the blue side of Manchester. Time and time will tell. But don't write Inter Milan off. Don't write Inter Milan off. So if you just join us, this is Adinkra Sports Update with the boy wonder NNM. Earlier, I threw a debate to the house that Jose and Pep Guardiola, who is better? Don't forget, both of them have made it to the finals in Europe. Jose Mourinho has made it to the finals of the Europa Cup. And then Pep Guardiola has made it to the finals of the Champions League. Who is better? We shall go into that. We have people have their own opinions and own views. Yes, as far as this thing is concerned, people have their own views. So we shall go into that. It is getting hotter at the Twitter space. Jose fans are saying their view. Pep Guardiola fans are also airing their views. Who is better? You can send your view also, and we shall read it for you. And yesterday, we had Europa games being played yesterday. Yes, yesterday the Europa games were played, and then that is the two semifinals, the second legs of the semifinals that were played yesterday. And then yesterday it was back in Germany in Leverkusen. Leverkusen played against AS Roma. Don't forget that the first leg ended 1-0 in favor of Jose Mourinho's AS Roma. And then yesterday they went and then they played a goalless draw in Leverkusen. So, which means Jose Mourinho's AS Roma has made it to the finals of the Europa Cup. Jose Mourinho's AS Roma has made it to the finals of the Europa Cup. And then we witnessed that thrilling encounter between Sevilla, the kings of the Europa Cup, against Juventus. The first leg ended 1-1. And then this time around, they went to Sevilla, and it was amazing yesterday. It was amazing. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Like one of my friends will say. Sevilla beat Juventus by 2-1. And then the last goal came in the extra time by Eric Lamela. Those of you who are Tottenham Hotspur fans, know who Eric Lamela is. Yeah, Eric Lamela. He scored the final goal. That is the second goal. The goal which took Sevilla to the finals of the Europa Cup. Don't forget that it was Juve who scored the first goal through Duvan Vlahovic. That is the 65th minute. And then at the 71st minute, Suso, the former AC Milan player, also equalized for Sevilla. And then finally, Eric Lamela scored the final goal. And then that encounter ended in the 3-2 aggregate in favor of Sevilla. So now the final is settled. It's going to be between Jose Mourinho's AS Roma and Sevilla. That is going to be the finals of the Europa Super Cup. UEFA Europa Super Cup. And it's going to be on May 31st. May 31st at the Puskas Arena. May 31st at the Puskas Arena. We are going to witness Sevilla against Jose Mourinho's AS Roma. You can't miss this. That is May 31st. And then June 10th is the grand finale of the Champions League. Grand finale of the Champions League. Is it going to be Pep Guardiola or Simeone Inzaghi? Is it going to be Pep Guardiola or Simeone Inzaghi? Is it going to be Haaland? Or should I use Romelu Lukaku or Edin Dzeko? Is it going to be Haaland or Romelu Lukaku on that day, on the night? I think time and time will tell. So that is all for Champions League and European games that were played over the week. And it was so excitement here and there. And then I think we were pleased to be part of this experience. I always say that football is giving us so much that we need to be grateful of. The game we watched last Tuesday between Manchester City and Real Madrid was just great. It was just great. You see quality in that game. You see quality in the game of football. How football has evolved over the years has been so amazing, so amazing, with the integration of technology and a lot of expertise here and there. I think we are about to even witness even more exciting games, ahead of us. More exciting games ahead of us. And then finally, in European football, before we narrow it down to African games and then to our local game. In England, the race for the top four is getting keener and keener. Already we know Manchester City and then Arsenal have made it to the top. And then there is no doubt about that. No doubt. They have already made it to the top. because as it stands now, Manchester City with a game to play, they have 85 points. And then Arsenal is second with 81 points. So there is a very big gap between the second and the third, because Newcastle, as I speak to you right now, is third on the table with 69 points. And then we have Manchester United fourth with 66 points, and then Liverpool fifth with 65 points. Now, already the first and second spot have been taken. So now the race is for the third and the fourth position. And it's between these three teams: Newcastle United, Eddie Howe's Newcastle United, Manchester United, and Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool. These are the three teams in contention. Yesterday, Newcastle thrashed the informed Brighton by 4-1. With 2 games to go, Newcastle United has 69 points. Manchester United, with a game to play, have 66 points. And then Liverpool Football Club, with 2 games to go, have 65 points. We have seen the pressure that Liverpool is, mounting from the last few. I think the last end of the season, like, Liverpool is just mounting the pressure. They are just amassing the points. They are just winning. The last 5 games they played in the EPL, they won all the last 5 games they played in the EPL, Liverpool. So it's like they are gaining confidence day in, day out. So as it stands now, they are 5th on the table. So now, look at the games that are left to be played by these teams. Newcastle United has 2 games to play. And then these games are against Chelsea at the Stamford Bridge, and then Newcastle United and Leicester City at Newcastle. So first game they'll play against Leicester City, which is coming on May 22nd. That is coming Monday. And then the next game on May 28th, they'll play against Chelsea at the Stamford Bridge. So if Newcastle really want to cement their position, they must win the game against Leicester City. They must win the game against Leicester City before they face Chelsea, because the game against Chelsea at the Bridge, anything can happen. But don't forget that Leicester City is also fighting or battling relegation. As it stands now, they have 2 matches to go. They are 19th on the table. If they are able to win the next 2 games, I bet you they will stay in the league. Because Everton, which is 17th, only has 32 points. And even Nottingham Forest, which is 16th, has 34 points with 2 games to go. So if Leicester City is also able to win their next 2 games, they will remain in the competition. So if they play against Newcastle and they're able to get a win, and then the next one against West Ham and they're able to get a win, they can also remain in the league. But is this feasible? Against Newcastle at the St. James's Park is going to be very, very difficult for Leicester City. Playing home against West Ham United is also a very tricky game. So it is getting hotter. So if Newcastle is going to make it to Europe for the first time in a long time, and not just Europa, they are going to play the Champions League. They must win the game against Leicester City. So that is a game to watch. Leicester battling relegation and Newcastle United trying to make it in Europe. They don't want to play Europa. They want to play the Champions League. You see, the way and manner they played against Brighton yesterday, I tell you, I don't think Leicester City can stand the might of Newcastle United. But hey, Leicester City is a dying cattle. Dying cattle, dying bulldozers are very, very dangerous. If you go and you see a buffalo dying, don't get closer. Because the pain it's going through, you don't want to get closer to it because it gets overly dangerous to get closer to a dying buffalo. And that is what Leicester City has turned into. Leicester City is a dying buffalo right now. So they what a game. I want to see this game. Newcastle United and Leicester City. Oh my God. Come Monday. You don't want to miss this one. You don't want to miss this one. So Newcastle United have their destiny in their own hands as it stands now. Because with 2 games to go, Liverpool is 4 points behind Newcastle United. Manchester United has a game in hand, and Manchester United will be playing against Bournemouth tomorrow. And then they have a game against Chelsea, which will be played on the 25th. And then they have their final game against Fulham. If Manchester United want to play in Europe next season, they must win the game against Bournemouth tomorrow. They must win the game against Bournemouth tomorrow. And then we know the game against Chelsea, anything can happen, even with Chelsea's dip in form. And then Fulham is a mid-table team, right? Yeah. Fulham is a mid-table team right now. So Fulham is safe from relegation. So Fulham is safe. So that game against Fulham, I think Fulham wouldn't play that hard. No, they're safe. They're not playing for anything. So that game, I think Manchester United will win. So if they really want to make it in Europe, if they really want to make the top 4, they must win the game against Bournemouth tomorrow. And don't forget, Bournemouth is also safe in the competition. So they're not going to pose so much threat for Manchester United. So fingers crossed, I think Manchester United will win that. So, and then looking at all these analyses, I think it's going to be Manchester City, Arsenal, Newcastle, and Manchester United. I do not see Liverpool coming in. Because if Manchester United wins tomorrow, they're going to have 69 points. Wow, look at the number of goals Newcastle United has scored. Plus 35 goals. Newcastle is doing amazing. Newcastle is amazing this season. It's amazing this season. Okay, so I think that's it. So I see Manchester City, I see Arsenal, I see Newcastle United, and I see Manchester United representing England in the Champions League next season. And I see Liverpool playing the Europa, and I see Brighton making it to the Europa, and then Tottenham Hotspur will be playing the Europa Conference League. That's what I see. That's what I see. So fingers crossed. And then the only battle that I see in the relegation zone is, wow, the relegation is also getting harder because teams from Nottingham Forest, Everton, Leeds United, Leicester City, these 4 teams, Nottingham Forest, Everton, Leeds United, and Leicester City are the teams that are battling relegation right now. The difference between Leicester City and Nottingham Forest, which is 16th, is 4 points. 2 games to go. 6 points in 2 games. All Nottingham Forest needs to do is to just get a draw. If they lose against Arsenal, don't forget Arsenal says the league is not over yet, so they're not going to give rest on their arse. So they're going to give Nottingham Forest a game. So visibly, I do not see Nottingham Forest beating Arsenal. So even if they lose against Arsenal, and let's say Leicester City playing against Newcastle, is going to be, wow, interesting times ahead. Leicester City beat Newcastle. Leicester City is going to be 33 points. Everton elsewhere is also playing against Wolves. And anything can happen here. A very, very dicey situation. So if Everton is able to win that game against Wolves, they are safe in the league. They are safe in the league. Leeds United also have their destiny in their own hands right now. And then they'll be playing against West Ham come Sunday, May 21st. And if they're also able to win, they are safe. So these are the dynamics we have in our hands. But for already, I have predicted the top four. It's going to be Manchester City. It's going to be Arsenal. It's going to be Newcastle, and it's going to be Manchester United. They are the top four I have predicted. And then for the relegation, already Southampton is gone. It's just unfortunate to see Mohamed Salisu Southampton, and then Kamaldeen Suleiman Southampton. You know, he just made that move, and then unfortunately Southampton is moving to the Championship. Fine, already they have been relegated officially. That's what I think. I'm not sure Southampton will be. Even if they win all the 2 games, they're going to get 6 points, and then it's going to take them to 30 points, and they'll still be in the relegation. So officially, Southampton has been relegated, and unfortunately, they have been relegated. So are we going to see Leicester City and Leeds join them, or are we going to see Nottingham Forest and then Everton join them? Feasibly, I think it's going to be Leicester City and one of Leeds and Everton joining them. Leicester City and then one of Leeds or Everton joining them. Because Leeds United against West Ham also determine if they are also ready to go or not. Interesting times ahead. So that's what we have for you from the Premiership. That's what we have for you from the Premiership. And then finally, before we go to the African or local scenes, there's a debate in Twitter space, right? And it's getting hotter. It's between Jose Mourinho and then Pep Guardiola. Don't forget, for the first time in a long while, Jose Mourinho was able to use AS Roma to win a European trophy. Last year, they won the European Conference League. You know, they haven't won a trophy for a very long time. But Jose Mourinho came, picked up pieces together, and last year, they were European champions. And then again, they are in the Europa Cup League, Europa Cup finals this time around. So Jose Mourinho has made it back-to-back in European competitions final. He won the last one. Is he going to win it this time around? And then Pep Guardiola is doing exploits with Manchester City, propounding a new 3-2-4-1 formation, which is a headache for coaches in the world right now. They are trying to find antidote to this formation. Yes, we know definitely they're going to find solution to this formation, but not now. They haven't found it yet, because there are so many systems being played in this system. They can revert to 4-3-3, they can revert to 3-4-3, they can revert to 3-5-2, they can revert to 4-4-2, you know, depending on the situations on the field. But they push you so high that you have nothing to offer. They make you play to their tune. That's it. They dictate the pace for you. That's what Manchester City does. And Pep Guardiola has set his team so well that it becomes so much difficult for you to predict what you are going to play against. Yes, you know the players that are going to play, but you do not know the dynamics in the game. So that is what has happened. So finally, Manchester City has made it to the finals of the Champions League. The last time they got there, they were beaten by Chelsea. And now they are in the Champions League finals again. Already they have won the league back to back, and they are going to make it again 3 times in a row. And I'm sure it is time for Pep Guardiola to be knighted as Sir in the English game. Winning the league back to back is something to talk about. We have to make noise about this. And he's doing it in a grand style. Even if they don't start the season well, they somehow, some way manage to come in at the tail ends of the league. They are able to amass, like they will play like 10 games unbeaten, getting to the end of the league, and you see them contending for the league, and eventually they'll win the league. That is what Pep Guardiola is doing now. So he has made it to the finals of the Champions League. But now there is a debate on air. Jose faithfuls are saying Jose is better than Pep Guardiola, looking at their budget. If Jose is able to use this Roma team to win the European Conference League and then making it back again in the Europa League finals, they say Jose Mourinho has done extremely well than what Pep Guardiola is doing. For them, Pep Guardiola is only thriving at the mercies of money. They think Jose Mourinho is doing what he can to put pieces together to get Roma this far. And others are also debating that they say Pep Guardiola gives chance to, young and upcoming players. He uses the young players and that. But they are saying the only young player that City has been given a chance to play from their academy is Phil Foden. So what is the truth in that? So the debate is on and on and on. And I think I'll read to you, a couple of what people are saying at the Twitter space. But what do you think? Do you think Jose Mourinho getting to back-to-back European finals, yes, being in the Conference League and the Europa Cup with his budget, has done better than what Pep Guardiola is doing? Don't forget, Pep Guardiola is giving a scintillating piece of football. Yes, they say he's getting the money, but we see teams giving coaches being lavished money, and yet they produce nothing. We saw Antonio Conte. Yes, he also have his own problems, but yes, he was getting money from Tottenham Hotspur. Yes, we saw the time that Jose Mourinho came to Manchester United, but the Jose faithful are saying he was not supported like Ole was supported. If Jose was supported like Ole was supported, Jose would have won them some international or European Cup. Yes, he won the Europa for them. He would have won them the Champions League. That's what the Ole faithfuls are saying. However, the Pep Guardiola faithfuls are saying, if you say we are thriving at the mercies of money, you have also found, or there have been situations where you also dance to the tune of money. We saw you in Real Madrid. We saw you in Manchester United, breaking the banks to buy Paul Pogba without whooping sum of money. Mkhitaryan, Romelu Lukaku, and the rest. We saw that. So what's changed now? But so they are saying, so the Jose faithful are saying, if Jose Mourinho is giving Roma right now, would he have been able to bring them to what Jose has done, like the Europa Conference Finals and then Europa League Final? However, they believe any coach can bring this Manchester City team to the Champions League Final. But I disagree. I disagree. I disagree. I disagree. Well, that's it. You can be given this Manchester City team for you to even think about this formation that Manchester City is playing, and then to make it very successful. It's not easy. So many go into it. So many. All right. So let me read, I think, one or two comments at the Twitter space, and then let's see what faithfuls from both coaches are saying. Right? Faithful from both coaches are saying. I see Kofi Adolfo saying Mourinho can take this Manchester side to the UCL finals, but Pep Guardiola cannot take this Roma side to the Europa Cup finals. Well, that's what they say. And then I see Yabo also saying winning Europa League with Roma is harder than winning Champions League with Manchester City. If Mourinho manages to win the Europa League after winning the Conference League last season, the GOAT, no, he meant Jose, debate between him and Pep Guardiola will end. Well, so I think this is coming from a Jose faithful. And then Obama is saying Jose Mourinho taking Roma to another cup final, a better coach than oil money Pep Guardiola. I think all these are coming from the Jose fans. And then Jose will always be miles ahead of Pep Guardiola from Mr. Owura. And then Kofi Adolfo again, okay. And I see Albi saying Pep Guardiola will never be better than Jose, reaching 2 European finals in a row with Roma. It's way harder than reaching a final with the richest club in the world. Really? Is Manchester the really richest club in the world? Well, I was thinking it's PSG. Well, but let's see. Same as Ronaldo winning a title with Portugal. It's 100 times harder than Messi winning a title for Argentina. So, you see, different dynamics, right? You see different dynamics. But come to think of it, I don't think player to player that this Argentina team is better than the Portugal team. If you're going into player to player, I don't think this Argentina side has better players than the Portugal team. Let's put Ronaldo and Messi aside. Go to the goalkeepers, having Diego Costa and Dibu. Diego Costa is, it's top there. Yes, okay, let's cancel them out. You have Ruben Diaz at the heart of defense. When you go to Argentina, who do you have? Otamendi? Otamendi has faded. Otamendi has faded from the system. Go to the midfield. Bernardo Silva plays for Portugal. Bruno Fernandes plays for Portugal. Ruben Neves plays for Portugal. No, most of us knew this Chelsea youngster who came from Benfica, from the Champions League, from the World Cup, sorry. Even McAllister was not even known to be an Argentine. We see him play, but nobody gave him the benefit of the doubt what he did in the World Cup. Yes, we know what Rodrigo de Paul can do, but you will never bring him closer to Ruben Neves. So the debate can go on and on. I don't think Argentina have better players or better team than Portugal. I do not think at all. I do not think so. Because for Enzo Fernandez to come into the light and McAllister with Rodrigo de Paul to dominate midfields in the World Cup, it was a great work that was put into that. Because in any day, if you took Bruno Fernandes, you took Bernardo Silva and Ruben Diaz, and then you take Endo Hernandez, Alexis McAllister and Rodrigo de Paul. On any good day, I'll go for Bruno, I'll go for Bernardo Silva, and I'll go for Ruben Neves. On any good day. So if you tell me Argentina, Messi winning the World Cup with Argentina is easier than Ronaldo winning the World Cup with Portugal, I disagree. Well, that's my own opinion. I'm entitled to it. You have your own opinion. You are entitled to it. But I disagree. So that's what's going on in the air. That's what's going on. And then so many Jose favor. If Jose Mourinho managed to win the Europa League after winning the Conference League last season with Roma on a little budget, he will be the best coach in this generation. He won UCL with Porto and with Inter without spending 1.4 billion pounds. Well, okay, so that's it from the Jose faithfuls. Yeah, and that's what they think. But what do you think? Do you think Pep Guardiola needs the attention, needs the accolades, needs the honor for what he's doing right now? Comparatively, do you think Jose Mourinho has done much, much better for taking this Roma side with this low budget to get to a back-to-back European competition finals. And now, if Jose wins, do you think he has done a better job than what Pep Guardiola is doing? Well, time and time will tell. But people have their views. Views and opinions are just like noses. Everybody has his or her own. We are all entitled to them, but let the records speak to themselves. Let the records speak to themselves. All right. So away from the international scene. I told you we're going to enjoy this session today. Yeah, if you just join us, this is Sports Update on Adinkra Multimedia with the boy Wonder, NNM. Like I say, tell a friend to tell a friend that we are soaring. Yeah, we are live, and it's time for us to delve deeper into the local scenes. And at the local scenes, I think we have only two issues to talk about. The first one is a detailed one. Yeah, now World Cup 2026 is coming up. Yeah, and it is coming live here in the Americas. United States of America, Mexico, and Canada. And don't forget that this time around, the times have changed. The dynamics have been changed. The system has changed. We are not going to see 32 countries playing the World Cup this time around. We're going to see 48 teams in the World Cup. 48 teams in the World Cup. So continental teams have what increased as per what number of teams are making it to the World Cup. And in Africa, 9 teams plus 1 have been given. That's what we have been given. 9 teams plus 1. 9 teams plus 1. And I'll bring you the details of these dynamics. Yes, I'll bring you the details. So FIFA has finally called all federations and has spoken to them about the impending World Cup, which is coming here in the United States, Mexico, and Canada. Now, there have been changes in the system. So, continentally, each federation was asked to go and then find a way. They have been given the number of teams that will be coming, but find a way in connection or in collaboration with other continents or other federations in the other federations as to how you make your qualifications for the teams to get to the World Cup. So you can decide to go either Africa and the CAF and CONCACAF. You can decide to go CAF and Europe. You can decide, that's how it has been planned. But Africa decided to go with CONCACAF. So this was what has happened. So yesterday, the CAF Executive Committee gathered in Algiers for them to deliberate about this issue. Yesterday, that is May 18th, 2023, the CAF Executive Committee gathered in Algiers to deliberate about this issue. And then the committee unanimously agreed to implement a new system that will revolutionize World Cup qualifications for African teams as far as the African continent is concerned. So this is it. This is what is in the new format for the World Cup qualification. 1, there's going to be a formation of 9 groups, which is made up of 6 teams in each group. 9 groups of 6. 6 teams in each group. Now, each group, like I said, comprises 6 teams. The team that tops each group has automatical qualification to the World Cup. So 9 groups, the team that top each group will have an automatical qualification to the World Cup. So say Ghana is in one group with other teams and Ghana makes it to the top of the group, Ghana has qualified automatically to the World Cup. And then the change is made to provide a clear, straightforward pathway for the most dominant sides in each group to secure their position on the world stage. So now, I think CAF sat down And then they noticed that most of the time our best teams play each other, and then eventually one of those best teams will be left out to represent Africa in the competition. So we are making a system that will make sure we have our best team in the world stage representing. So we wouldn't have, like last season we had Egypt, which was a stronghold, not making it to the World Cup. We had Algeria, which was a stronghold, not making it to the World Cup. So we are going, this time around, we are about championing a course which will help us bring these teams, all these teams, to represent Africa at the world stage. Hence, this system. So that is the aim of that system. And then after the 9 teams have made it, automatically, the second teams are not left out. So if you are one of best 4 second teams, you stand a chance of making it to the World Cup via playoffs. So the best 4 second teams will be selected on the African continent, which will be engaging in coveted playoffs. After they have finished playing the playoffs, CONCACAF, that is the Confederation of North Central America and Caribbean Association of Football, would have also gone through some playoffs, and Imagine Force will play against the winner of the coveted playoff that was played in Africa. And then if that team is able to beat the team from CONCACAF, that team finally secures a spot to the World Cup. So Africa, we are not doing our system in isolation. It is in connection and conjunction with the CONCACAF. So CAF against CONCACAF playoffs. So if this makes the dynamics so interesting, because as a Ghanaian, I have interest in it. So even if Ghana is not able to top the group, Ghana still has a chance of making it to the World Cup. But it will come through dint of hard work. Because you are going to play a lot of games for you to make it to the World Cup. So for you to avoid playing these games, you want to make sure you top your group. But there is another problem. The groupings are going to be done by seeds. And then the seeds are going to be done by the world ranking in the football's world ranking. And in Africa, currently Ghana is 11th. So if we are going to seed the groups, we have 9 groups. And if you are going to seed the groups, I'm not sure Ghana is going to be seeded. Which means if Ghana is not seeded, Ghana is likely to play the seeding teams. Either Senegal, Egypt, Algeria, Morocco, Cameroon, Tunisia, Nigeria. Ghana is likely to play one of these teams in the group. And I believe Ghanaians will want to play in a group which is made up of Ghana and Nigeria, because we know we always triumph over them. That's okay. So this is the new system that is coming. So it's going to be made of groups of 9 groups of 6. And then the winners of each group will automatically qualify to the World Cup. And then the second best teams, 4 second best teams will be engaged in the coveted playoffs. And then finally play a CONCACAF team. And the eventual outcome of that encounter will secure qualification to the World Cup 2026. Don't forget that the host, the United States, Canada, and Mexico have outright qualification to the World Cup. So now, remaining 45 countries that are yet to join these hosts to make the World Cup the amazing World Cup we are all waiting to see. I'm in America here, and I can't wait to see the World Cup ongoing here. Yes, I'm praying that I will be at every center to get you live coverage, if possible, to report what I see over there for you guys. Yeah, so that is what's going to happen. That is what's going to happen as far as Africa's qualification is concerned. And as a Ghanaian, I have interest in that. So for Ghana to avoid playing all these playoffs, we have to make sure we top our group. We have to make sure we top our group to avoid this playoffs. And then finally, the number 12 saga. The number 12 saga. The number 12 saga. The number 12 saga. Arimiao Anas finally has decided to withdraw from testifying against Kwesi Nyantechi, the former GFA boss, the former vice president CAF. Arimiao Anas has decided to withdraw from testifying against Kwesi Nyantechi. We all knew what happened with number 12, alleged football scandal, corruption scandals here and there during the Kwesi Nyantechi regime, with lots of footages and then videos here and there. Footages and videos, signifying or showing that the football people have been engaged in corrupt malpractices, and then which is not helping our game of football at all. So the number 12 came by an investigative journalist we all know to be called Anas Arimiao Anas, whose identity is yet to be revealed by virtue of his profession. So after the number 12 what came up, there are so many brouhahas came in the stage, and then which led to Kwesi Nyantechi losing or being stripped of all his football positions. He was stripped of his presidency as the FA boss. He was stripped of his vice presidency from CAF, and then any other positions he was holding as far as FIFA was concerned. And it was very, very pathetic around that time, seeing how Kwesi Nyantechi was rising the radar. All of us knew one day Ghana's interest is going to be championed at the highest stage of world football, because the way Kwesi Nyantechi was rising even into FIFA, being football commissioner, being representing Africa's interest, and then being part of so many committees in FIFA, we knew that one day Ghana's name is going to be mentioned as far as the game of football is concerned. And knowing that all these are players in the game, we knew definitely Ghana will have a strong representation as far as world football is concerned. So Kwesi Nyantechi's rise was something dear to our heart as Ghanaians. Yes, we know people have their own problems here and there. Yes, people have their views. And then people have even said he's more concerned about his rise in African football than even our local game. And then so many views here and there. But finally, he was stripped of all his position, and he was even banned from getting close to anything football related because of that video that came from number 12. And then all over Africa, so many deliberations here and there. You go to South Africa, it was like people were waiting for this to happen. Yes, yeah. Sometimes, I think we need to be very, very patient to see how things unravel before we even air our views, or else we'll be saying things we are not supposed to say. So basically, that was what happened. So eventually, the ball was set rolling, but even prior to that, if all of you recall, one Mohammed Swale, who was one member of the Tiger Eye investigative agency, who was murdered in 2019 after visiting the Attorney General's office in the broad daylight. So I think before this ruling, I think Kwesi Nyantakyi went to a high court in Accra for them to give him the permission to see Anas Arimiyahu Anas's face in the judge's chamber before Anas gets to the witness chamber to testify against Kwesi Nyantakyi. So that was what Kwesi Nyantakyi went to the High Court and then to seek, and it was granted that permission to see Anas's face in chambers of the judge before the proceedings of the ruling. So Anas was, I think, served this, which he was aware, and then he was supposed to appear in court yesterday. Everybody was waiting for this to happen. The tension was so high, and then knowing what Kwesi Nyantakyi has asked the court for Anas to do, everybody was waiting to see if Anas will, yes, of course, reveal his identity in chambers to Kwesi Nyantakyi before coming to testify against him in court. Just yesterday, we were all waiting and waiting. Before this, Ahmed Swale was murdered in the broad daylight. So, pondering over this with many other factors, just yesterday, it came out that Anas had decided to withdraw from testifying against Kwesi Nyantakyi. Reasons being that he felt his life would be in danger with per the job or his work as an investigative journalist. If his identity is revealed to the public, I think the credibility of his work will be questioned, and then his life will be exposed to dangers like what happened to his colleague Ahmed Swale. Because remember during the COVID time, Ahmed Swale's picture was brought into the public domain in Kennedy Japan's program in Netsu, and then he believed that led to the broad daylight assassination of Ahmed Swale. And then he revealing his face to Kwesi Nyantakyi in the judge's chamber would eventually lead to endangering his life. He doesn't know what Kwesi Nyantakyi is coming. He doesn't know if Kwesi Nyantakyi has cameras somewhere in his glasses, in his ears, wherever, just to capture his face. He's scared, so to reveal his face to Kwesi Nyantakyi or any other person. So he has decided to withdraw testifying against Kwesi Nyantakyi. So the summary of the whole thing is here, and I think I would like to read it to your hearing so that we can know exactly what happened point by point. So the Tiger Eye PI has taken notice of the ruling by the High Court sitting in Accra to allow undercover journalist Anas Arimiyahu Anas to testify wearing mask in open court on condition that he shows his face to accused person in the judge's chamber. And you know the accused person is Kwesi Nyantakyi first. 2. Anas had earlier agreed to testify as a witness for the prosecution in the above style case after Ahmed Hussein Swale was assassinated on condition that his identity is protected. So that is what Anas is saying. So he wants his identity to be protected because Ahmed Swale was murdered in broad daylight concerning this same case. So he's very, very cautious about his life. And then third, he said Anas's request for the protection of his identity. Anas's request for the protection of his identity stems from his role as an undercover agent and the real and elevated risk that revealing his identity to the accused person will severely compromise his physical security and personal safety. So that is what Anas is saying. It should be recalled that the late Ahmed Swale Hussein, a star witness in this case, was assassinated in broad daylight in 2019. His assassination occurred on the same day that he had engagements with the Attorney General's office on his testimony against the accused person in the above styled case. And then 5 prior to his gruesome murder, the late Ahmed Swale had been threatened with death by Mr. Kwesi Nyantakyi and has been the subject of Carlos media attacks for his role as a star witness in the case, culminating in the revealing of his identity on national television and social media by one Mr. Kennedy Ejapon, the MP for Asin Central constituency. And then, as much as Anas is willing and ready to testify for the prosecution, doing so under the condition specified by the High Court presents a clear and present danger to his security and safety, especially because of the issues chronicled above. So Anas is being cautious over here. He's being very, very cautious about, especially with regards to what happened to Ahmed Swale. So he's being cautious to avoid him being in trouble. So finally, he has decided to withdraw. Under these circumstances, prudence requires that he declines the invitation to endanger his life accordingly declines the invitation to reveal his identity to the accused person in the judge's chamber. And then he said, Tiger Eye endorses the position of Anas, Armiao Anas, and states that it is proper and wise to err on the side of caution to avoid any potential attack on another office investigators. So Tiger Eye has also, agreed to Anas's request that he would not reveal his identity and that his life will be in danger. Tiger Eye's position is further buttressed by the unrelenting, coordinated, and well-financed media and other campaigns by private and state actors to undermine its operation and the Anas principle, which stand in their way of amassing corruption and social injustice. All right, so that is what they think. They think that some private companies and then some state-owned organizations are behind this to undermine their activities as investigation agency to bring down corrupt practices. And then finally, nonetheless, Tiger Eye shall remain unwavering and relentless in its fight against corruption and societal ills. Anas remain in high spirit and is grateful to the good people of Ghana for their support and protection. And okay, so this is the case. So this is what has come up. Finally, Anas has decided not to testify against Kwesi Nyantakyi in court with regards to the number 12, and then saying that his life is in danger, and then he wouldn't reveal his identity to Kwesi Nyantakyi as the High Court demanded him to do before the start of the case. Okay, so he's not going to do that. He's not going to do that. So that is it for the number 12. If you just join us, this is your number 1 sports update on Adinkra Multimedia with your man NNM the Boy Wonder. NNM the Boy Wonder. All too soon, this is what time will permit us. I know you have enjoyed it. This is it. We came to entertain and we came to serve. And then, like I say, tell a friend to tell a friend. Keep liking, keep sharing. We want you to keep sharing and liking this program because this is the best sport update you can ever have. Yeah, there are so many sport news over the world, but we select the best for you, the one that you want to be spoken about. That is what we bring you. Yes, it's your man and the name Nina Maxwell. You can call me the boy wonder. Like I always say, until humanity is touched, we can never, never, never be happy. Until then, stay positive. See you next week. Goodbye.